Good morning and welcome to your online art lesson. We are continuing the theme of portraiture. So far we have looked at how to draw the different facial proportions and where each of your features are set within that area. We've looked at individual facial features. So far we've already looked at how to draw the eyes in more detail, and we've looked at how to draw the ears. This week we're going to be having a look at how to draw the nose. So your learning objectives are learning to apply a basic set of rules to draw the nose from face onwards. Also, how to apply shading and tone to create a more realistic and three-dimensional image of the nose. So drawing the nose is really difficult because unlike the other features, it doesn't have an outline. So because of this, much of it can only be drawn by using tone, so by you applying shading to your work. Okay, so the materials that you're going to need for this lesson are some paper. If you don't have an A4 piece of paper, that's fine. You'll need a pencil, you'll need a rubber, and you'll need either a cotton wool bud or some tissue. That will also work for blending in the areas. Okay, so if you want to pause this while you go and get your materials, that's fine. And I'm going to start showing you a short video of how to draw the nose. Right, okay, so I'm going to start off by drawing a circle. Okay, and this is going to be the main part of your nose, this bottom bit here. Okay, so you can use something to draw around first if you want to, really lightly. So remember, you're going to rub some of these lines out anyway, so don't push too hard, so just apply a little bit of pressure. Okay, so I'm just going to start drawing some lines in at the side of the circle. Okay, so these want to be level with each other. Okay, these are going to be your nostrils. So that's going to be the basis, and then I'm just going to start by linking this round. Okay, so this here is the curve of each nostril. So remember, if you don't get it right straight away, don't worry, because you can go back and you can rub some of that out. Okay, so I'm just going to start drawing this bit in here, and this is going to be the darker area. I'm going to extend this down a little bit more. And then just where the bridge of your nose is, I'm just going to roughly draw these two lines in. Okay, so remember, this is just a rough guide for now. Okay, so if you want to, you can pause the video, okay, while you get up to that point. Once you've got up to that point, I'm just going to start darkening these areas. Okay, so this is where your nostrils are, so you don't get any light because that's kind of shaded by the overhanging of the skin. Okay, so that area is going to be really dark. Okay, so because not everybody's noses are the same, so when I'm drawing mine, my nose is really round, so that's why I use a circle. Sometimes you may want to do it where you're actually drawing a rectangle hanging down for the centre bit. Okay, so that's if somebody's got really angled features, but for now we'll just start off by drawing it this way and keep it nice and simple. Okay, so I'm just going to start darkening that area underneath a little bit, and then start adding some of my main shading. Okay, so I'm lightly just adding a little bit of darker areas with my pencil around the bottom part of the circle, coming up to the top. Okay, and then using your blender or your tissue, you can start blending this in. Okay, and I'm going to start taking some of it up the sides. Okay, and I'm just going to start darkening the outer sides of the nostrils. And blending that in a little bit. The trick to drawing this really well is by having really smooth transitions when you're blending. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. You can keep coming back and working on different areas. Okay, so I'm going to start darkening this area a little bit more, just to add a little bit more definition. And that bit there, where it's going down in a bit of a triangle, that will be the start of your philtrum. And that's the weird little bit of skin between your nose and your mouth. There we go. Just making that area stand out really well. Okay, and then I'm just going to start adding a little bit of detail to the bridge of the nose. Okay, so I'm just going to do a bit of cross hatching on here, and then that will get blended in. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to blend all of that area in. Okay, and start by adding a little bit more definition just around those areas. Okay, and I'm just going to build up on the shading and the turn that I've created on the under part of the nose. And finally, I'm just going to start using the tissue just to get that all blended in really nice and smooth. Okay, so now I've finished blending all of that area in. I have my final image of the nose. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to have a couple of attempts at this. Remember, if you make any mistakes, don't scrap it completely. You can rub it out and start again. And if you've gone too dark in some areas, remember that you can always use your rubber as a highlighter. Finally, we are always happy for you to send your work into the Instagram account, so it's great to see some of the work that people have been producing at home. And lastly, we are going to be moving on to drawing the lips next week. So look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. Thank you. you.